Okay, what's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another Muffins with Morgan. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. And so, as you always know how we do it, if you have anything that you want to talk about today, we're going to answer some questions. But most importantly, right? Most importantly, is I have a different question for y'all. Where do you want to travel next? Is it a different? I got a different question here. Where do you want to travel next? Let us know in the chat as y'all come in here, and then y'all know what it is, how we start off every single Muffins with Morgan. Okay, so now we're ready. We're fired up. Let us know where you would like to travel next. Also, if you just want to let us know where like we're tuning in from, I mean that's also cool as well. Like I'm not gonna be opposed to that. Well, I'm excited for another Muffins with Morgan. We're in March. It's a March Madness. I don't know if y'all are future fans out there. It's pretty much what I've listened to the entire time in March because it's it's just a good song for March. It just makes sense. So let us know in the chat where you want to travel to next. I'm super curious. I'll let y'all know where I want to travel next and things I have already on the docket. So Portugal, I'm going to Lisbon. So that will be really fun. So if anyone has been to Lisbon before, hit me up in the DMs. Would love to your suggestions. Spain, going to Madrid, Barcelona. So for those of you who've been there before, hopefully I said that right. and then also as well, I would love to go to. I really want to go here. I want to go to New Zealand. I was supposed to go there in 2020. We all know what happened during that year. Want to go to New Zealand? Go check it out there. Tons of awesome stuff there because of Lord of the Rings. I'm pretty biased on that. So I want to go there. Australia, would love to go there as well. So there's a couple places I would love to go. I see some ones in the chat though that I absolutely would love to go to as well. What do we have here? We have Turkey. Turkey is great. What else do we have? Let's see. We have India, Brazil. Shelly, let us know. Shout out to Shelly. What's going on? Where in India would you go? Because there's obviously a lot of spots there. Morocco. We have a lot of good spots. All right, y'all. So hopefully everyone's having a fantastic Santa Barbara. Santa Barbara is actually a really good spot. Been there before. So if you haven't been here before, what do we do on Muffins with Morgan? What we do is we answer questions, any questions that you have. Like typically they're sales questions, but I'm not opposed to career questions or maybe if content creation questions, sales nav questions. I can answer any of those questions. So this is just the time to ask those questions. We'll be here for 45 minutes. We'll get in and out today. And I got some exciting things that I'm announcing next week. So stay tuned. But yeah, that's what we're going to do here on this Friday. We're just going to dive into the questions that you have. No questions really off the table here. I'm happy to answer anything. And if it's your first time here, let us know in the chat. But if you're a returning guest, let us know as well. We love seeing people who return back on this Friday with Muffins and Morgan. So we have some amazing spots. I'll name out them. Switzerland, Jordan, London is great. It's a good spot. What else have in here? We have Brazil, Nairobi. We have a lot of stuff in here too as well. Oh, that's incredible. So, Anthony, I can definitely dive into Relationship Explorer. I can share my screen because we got the capabilities here. So that's going to require us to shift directions here. But I want to see if anyone else is in that same bucket. Put a 1 in the chat if you want me to dive through Relationship Explorer. It's the new Sales Nav feature. Would obviously love to dive into it. But if you have to... Yeah, if you want me to go into Relationship Explorer, just put a 1 in the chat because that will require a screen share. So I just want to make sure everyone is on somewhat of the same page. Don't want to determine like, yo, where you going, Morgan? We want to make sure that we can do that. And yeah, for sure. So we're gonna get some things in here. But again, I'm gonna play the. Y'all know what it is. We gotta get excited in here. It's a Friday, new month. We got some awesome things that we're about to talk about. I'm fired up, y'all. As you can tell, more than usual. Exciting news next week. I can't even tell you. just stay tuned next week. There's a lot of stuff, amazing stuff I've been working on for the past 3-4 months, and I'm excited to share with you all and why it's important to you all as well. So We have a couple ones in here. So what I'm going to do is I am going to share my screen. So give me a couple seconds to pull this up, and I'll explain the Relationship Explorer to you if you have not seen this before. And again, if you're a first time tuning in here, let's tag LinkedIn here. Let's tag LinkedIn and see if they want to jump in here, and they can see what we're talking about Relationship Explorer. But these questions that we just got, Jacob, that's a good question. I'll dive into that. Nathan, you're trying to get me really deep here on a Friday. That's a really good question. I have the answer for you, and I love that question. I love the personal question. So I'll tell you exactly what the most difficult career decision was for me. I'll dive into it. So, all right, y'all, let's dive into Explorer. Now, I'm going to share my screen so y'all can see what I'm looking at. All right, so everybody should be able to see this. Let's remove this caption because it doesn't really need to be there right now. And the thing is, can everybody see my screen? Just let me know. I just want to make sure that everybody can see my screen here. And let's blow this up a little bit. All right, cool. All right, so let me know if you can see the screen. You all should be able to see it. And I'm gonna zoom in real quick so we can dive into this. So the whole thing is, Justin, appreciate the comment. I'm doing fantastic. I'm not gonna lie. Like I keep it real, people. I'm doing fantastic. I've been working on some things for months, and I finally get to share that next week. So I'm doing a fantastic because I'm already seeing the final products of a couple of things I'm doing. So it was it's been a great Friday. So thank you for asking. So let's just go into this. This just makes it easier. So I'm gonna go into accounts, and let's just use Splunk, for example. All right, we'll just click into Splunk. So here is Relationship Explorer. Now, why is this important, y'all? Why does this even matter? Why do y'all even care? The reason is because when you're thinking about looking into an account, you can go through the lead filters and go through that measure. However, the Relationship Explorer is going to allow you to find these leads faster. So let me give you an example. So I have different editing personas that I've created. So moving forward, based on like what I'm offering, I'm doing like marketing service essentially. So like I might be like, you know what? Let's change up what this is. Now, obviously, this is pretty straightforward, like marketing director, VP, CXO. So this kind of gives it to me, but you could even go more granular if I was like, hold on, if I could spell, that's probably important. All right, see, it's got all these different people, so I might just like head of demand gen. I'm literally just kind of just going with it, right? Chief marketing officer. Let's just go with like, I don't know, VP of marketing. Let's just make it super granular, right? All right, so I put the function because I'm just trying to narrow down as much as possible. Let's say find people that do different regions. So you have different regions in here as well. So if you wanted to do EMEA, DAC region, North America, APJ, like you got it. And if you want to do postal, you can also add the postal here as well, which is pretty cool. Anyways, my whole point is you can edit down a persona of something that you consistently are doing, so you don't have to just go through the lead filters. So again, for this example, we're going after directors, VPs, CSOs, head of demand gen, CMOs, VP of marketing, whatever that may be. And then once I've done that, I'm going to save it. So check this out. It's created this for me, right? So again, I don't have to go through all the leads. I don't know about y'all, but that becomes a massive headache. And then I'm like sitting on sales and I'm like, yo, like I'm here for like 30 minutes trying to find these people, especially at a massive organization. This just makes it a lot easier. So the cool thing is now, instead of filtering in and out through multiple different windows in Relationship Explorer, I can do this pretty easily. I can say, okay, who's posted on LinkedIn? All right, Kevin has, and I might want to add Kevin. And the cool thing is it also tells me who the mutual connections are, right? If I could potentially get an intro. Not to say that I will get one because you know how LinkedIn is typically sometimes, but that's the way it goes. So let's go back to what I was doing. So you'll see here, right, that with all these things that are happening, I can continuously do shared experiences. I can X out. I can even look at who has second degree connections with me, right? Because so they might be third degree, but second degree might have a higher chance of getting success. So ultimately, that's like how it works, right? You go in your personas and you see I have multiple I'm creating. I'm learning this because it's a new function, a few features. So we're all learning here. But you'll see that I'm going here. I edit. You can put in whatever your job titles are, whatever you're looking for. I'm telling you, this is just an easier way of doing it because it's going to save you time. And then here's the cool part about it. I don't know if y'all know this. You can create account maps in Sales Navigator. So what I would do is, let's just say I want to talk to Kevin, Hugh, and Seema, right? So now if I go down here, right, they just got added to the save leads, and they also got added here to the account map. So now, as you see, I can move people around if I wanted to, and everyone I just added as a saved lead now as a part of the account map. So again, you can do this accordingly. I can move people in and out, and I can do this. I can move people down, and now I'm ready to go. So look, I'm just telling y'all, this is a game changer. I don't show y'all things just to be like, oh guys, check this out. It's gonna be super cool. Like, no, like this is literally like
it's over 9,000.
like Super Saiyan. I'm going crazy. I'm saving y'all time and helping you get more meetings and close more business. I think that's why y'all show up to these things. So at the end of the day, that's the focus here. Shout out to Muffins and Morgan, because we do eat muffins, because some people think that I don't, but I actually do. And I get the mini ones because the big ones just take too long to eat, and then I can't answer any questions. So that's why we got the mini ones. I'll eat that in a minute. However, let's pause. Was that helpful for everyone? Please let me know in the chat if it wasn't clear, if I talked too fast, or like, Morgan, you're confusing. Like, I mean, I'm open to that feedback. I can always get better. But at the same time, that's exactly how you use this. I would encourage you to do 3 to 4 of these persona mappings. I haven't fully done that yet. As you can see, it's a new feature, right? So I'm still learning it. But I dived in a couple days ago to just have an understanding so I could speak to this. So that's the case as well. Yeah, no, Brian, I 100% need to restock. I ate quite a bit this morning. I was like, these banana nut muffins hit a little bit too hard. So I was like, I need at least one for the show. So that's why we at least have one. But yo, the banana nut muffins are like not a game. So let us know if that was helpful. I know we originally who asked that question. Let's go back to and we're gonna get to some questions here as well that are a little bit more broad. But Anthony, let me know if that was helpful. You originally asked that question, and let us know if that was helpful for everybody else as well. But that's just the straightforward way to use that. I'm going to stop sharing so that we can get to some other questions here. But that's the case here as well. So, Brian, what's going on? Happy to have you on the show. Yeah, Dan, I'm just trying to save people time. You know, just trying to do what I can do. Now, let's see. Let's go into some other questions here. All right. So, when you're prospecting on LinkedIn, do you send a connection invite or with message initially? All right, y'all. So this is going to be extremely straightforward. Like, I can't make this more straightforward than what I'm about to say. The acceptance rates without a message in them have a higher connection rate than the ones with them. Here's what's going to happen though. There's going to be people on LinkedIn that are going to be like, hey, well, if you add the connection note, it's going to be better. Like what's going on? Like, it doesn't matter. What I'm telling you is the data. I've done hundreds of training sessions with sales reps who are actively doing this every single day. I talk to executives on a daily basis, and I have the data to tell you without a note has a higher connection rate than with the note. Now, when should you add a note? You should add a note when, let's say, for example, you meet someone in person. Let's say that it's a referral. Let's say that you have some context that's useful. But again, I've said this over and over and over again. I've seen it over and over and over again. If you do not add a message inside of your connection invite, you will see a higher acceptance rate. If you add a message, you will probably see a lower one. If anyone else does different, I mean, it is what it is. But I'm just telling you what people told me across thousands of examples. So that's what I would do there. So Jacob, hopefully it's helpful. Rob, no, I don't plan on going full James Harden here. I do not. I'm getting a haircut tomorrow, but I think across the board, like I guess my beard just kind of just went crazy. I'm going crazy. I'm gonna get it solved tomorrow. I've just been focused. So when I get focused, I get full beard mode. This is what happens. But I'm out of full trench hermit mode, and I'm in a different mode now. So no, I'm not going full James Harden at all. I mean, we might ball out like him back in the day, but no, we're good. So let's see. And if you have more questions, continuously drop them here in the chat. I will make sure I answer them. So I just want to make sure that y'all know that. So Nathan's with the deep question. Nathan's trying to get us in the feels here. I don't know why, but here we go. um Wait, Maggie, are you saying I should go back to Saturday? Is that what you're telling me? Or you just missed the Saturday ones in the past and you're excited that you're here? Let me know what your feedback is there. Yeah, that was a ton of fun. I enjoyed doing them. And so, across the board, like, I just love doing it. That's why I came back. So hopefully y'all enjoy season 2. So do you prefer a connect with or without message? So for me personally, at this point, like I don't know how to say this. I have way too many. So unless like it makes sense for me to connect, like it's just not gonna happen as much. Like I don't know I don't know how to put it. Like it just isn't. I'm just not gonna accept a lot of connection requests unless like it makes sense. But here's the reason why: because I have a 30,000 connection limit, so I have to be extremely picky, and it has to fit within something that I'm looking to offer somebody. They have to be someone that like I'm communicating with. They're like a big supporter. Like it's harder for me to decide because I have a 30,000 connection limit. If I didn't have a connection limit, I probably would accept as many people as possible, but I have to be extremely picky. So it just makes it harder for me to tell you what my preference is because it would have to actually be very, very personalized. But also, I'm an anomaly when it comes to what my opinion is on acceptance rates on connection requests because my whole entire motive and my mission and my goals are different than most people on the platform, right? So I'm not a good use case, but that's just if you're asking me, that's what the case is. All right, well, let's see. No, Megan, that's a lifetime limit. That's like like I can't accept anyone past 30,000 connections. Like it's a limit. Like it's LinkedIn's limit. I can't do anything. There's no like nothing you can buy. There's no like bypass. Like it's legit. It's just the limit. Like that's it. Like it's not fun. Let's just put it that way. I don't like it. So, all right, Maggie and Rob said Saturday should come back. Well, here's the thing. If y'all think Saturday Muffins and Morgan should come back, let me know in the chat or DM me. I'm always open to feedback. Like I did on Fridays as I was like kind of rolling back in. But look, if Saturday is the move for people, y'all gonna let me know. I'm always down to switch it up for the people. I don't think sending the muffins will help. Lauren, what's going on? Happy to see you. Hopefully everyone's enjoying their Friday. Nathan, I'm about to get to your question in a minute, but these small ones we're going to answer. I've been poking them for years. I've had 30K connection limit for like 3 years. I've been poking them forever and they just won't budge. They said that not enough people have the problem on the platform, so they won't change it. I'm just telling you what they told me. So I was like, okay, like at some point, everyone's going to have this issue in the next 2 years. So, whenever that happens, whatever. I'll be excited for it. Anyways, let's go into this question. All right, y'all. So I'm going to be super transparent with y'all. The most difficult career decision I ever had to make was leaving JB Sales. The hardest decision I had to make in my career because John and I were very close, and I was the first employee, or not the first employee. I was the first full-time trainer that was hired. It was at a time back in like 2017, 2018 when I just started creating content. Not a lot of people were creating content, so it was a weird factor back then. A lot of people thought me creating content was not real or fake, or I was making things up. And it was during a time where I was one of, I don't know, 5 creators at all on the platform. And I was also super early in my career. So there's a lot of things that John had taught me as a person, a sales professional, and as a leader that I still use today. And I owe a lot to him. So it's very difficult to leave a situation where you've invested a lot of your career at, and someone has invested a lot into you. So it was a difficult decision because I knew that I personally wanted to evolve and do things, just do different things. And everyone at their career gets to that point where it's like you spend a lot of time with someone, you might evolve and you're like, I want to do something different. And that's okay to have that professional conversation with someone, but it doesn't make it an easy decision to do. But I knew I needed to do it. So that has been, to this day, we'll see obviously as the career goes on in the next decade, to this day, the hardest decision that I ever had to make, and contemplated for a very long time. When it's like Arizona, think about it, like my spot Sedona, like I had to really think about it. But if I'm being real with y'all, like that was the hardest decision that I've made up until this point. All right, so let's see. And hopefully, Nathan, that answered your question. Trying to get me emotional in the morning. I don't know what you're trying to do to me, man. All right, let's see. Let's see what's going on. All right. We got a good amount of questions here. I'm gonna hit y'all up. But all right, Maggie and Rob are like, go back to Saturdays. Here, you can't say go back to Saturdays, and then if I don't see you on Saturdays, I'm gonna be like, yo, what? So y'all just let me know about that one. Again, I'm always open to feedback. But let's see, broke into tech, started my new job in a week. What is one piece of advice you would give to absolutely kill it? So the thing is, when it comes to like doing really well at this job, you really need to I say this a lot and it sounds like redundant or even sounds like it's boring, but it's so true. Like you have to understand what your industry and customers are about. So if I were to go back and start new in tech and I had to give myself one piece of advice without knowing the information I know today, I'd be like, go understand your customers and your industry at the highest level. So ultimately what I would do is say, okay, hey, like let's go to like, so for example, I would go like to customer success and like study the testimonials and the case studies. I would go to trying to think, yeah, I would go to marketing and talk to them about like how are you marketing. Like I would just spend a lot of time getting to know the customer because that will make your emails and cold calls and videos better and you'll be able to communicate better. So that might sound super simple, yet at the same time, it's like not because a lot of people don't do it. So that's what I would do to remain consistent. And that's what I would do to make sure that you can get the things done that you need to. So hopefully that's helpful in answering that question. All right. Let's see. All right, this is a good question. To prepare for a mock disco for a third interview, do you have a go-to flow to dive into? Thanks for sharing knowledge with us. Sharon, you're absolutely welcome. So to prepare for a mock disco. All right, y'all. So we're coming into a disco. Yeah, little John's fired about this one. So when you're preparing for yeah, this because it is I'm pausing because like there's some context here, right? Because I don't know what's happened up into this third interview, and you don't need to give me the whole spill, but there's probably things I could do to give you a better answer. But ultimately, the best way that I think about it is in three steps. So one is I look to like affirm what I've heard so far. So I'm basically understanding like, okay, this is what their objectives are. Here's how I can help. And I might add that in there. Two is I try to add some personal stories. So stories that I have done in my past to be successful based on the objectives they're looking for. And then adding in personal stories that I've maybe researched on them, right? And making them feel included. And three is asking good questions to the person that is interviewing you, right? Because you want them to think about things a little bit differently. You want them to you want to show them that you're thinking, you're processing things differently, and you're being intentional. So that's ultimately what I would say there. Nothing too crazy without me knowing all the context, but that's how I always do it. Affirm that like I know what I'm doing, and then I like to tell personal stories to show that I'm paying attention and then I know a little bit about you. And then at the end, I ask questions to show that hey, like I'm being thoughtful and being intentional about how I want to go about it. So that's how I do it there. All right, let's keep the questions flowing. Let's see. You describe in one of your videos how to get past the gatekeepers. For me, it was very helpful when I was forthright with a custom rep. He was willing to help certain with. What would your thoughts be? Okay, hold on one second. Let me read it from the chat here. So, if hello, you described in one of your videos how to get past the gatekeepers, and for me, it was very helpful when I was more forthright with a custom rep. And at the end, he was the one willing to help with certain information. What are your thoughts about that? I'm trying to identify exactly how you're looking to phrase this question, but essentially, like the simple answer here is A/B testing. Like my thoughts are my opinions and suggestions based on my experience. However, everything that I've experienced doesn't mean it's the right answer. It's just an answer that I've seen to work with clients or with my own self. So based on my experience, what I always tell people is you have to A/B test things to see if they work for you or not. There are different regions, there are different personas, there's different styles, there's different frameworks. Ultimately, you get to figure out which style and framework works for you and then contextualize it for that region and where you're at. So what I would say here is that like, all right, if you have found that being more forthright with the custom rep and at the end they're willing to give you certain information, great, keep doing it. Like I don't have any thoughts on something. If it's working for you, you should do it as long as it's not shady. So my simple answer there is amazing that it's working for you. I would continuously do it. A/B test it with other approaches and find out what's the best for you. And then over time, you'll figure out this is consistently is working based on your framework and your formula. All right. Let's keep the questions rolling for everybody in here. Hopefully everyone's enjoying their time so far. We got the air horns here, but what's the number one change for buyers in 2023 that impacts how you market and sell? I feel like everyone's been yelling about this one, Dan, but I mean, the number one change is like the CFO is way more involved than they typically are, right? So the way you have to think about it is, well, I said this in COVID, was you have to think about your buyer's buyer, right? So, for example, during COVID, it probably wasn't a good idea to sell to restaurants, right? And if your market was restaurants, you're probably going to take a hit because no one was going to restaurants. So, if you were building up a list and you're like, I want to go after companies that sell to restaurants, that wouldn't be a smart idea, right? Might be a smarter idea for people who are doing cybersecurity, might be a better idea for people that were selling, I don't know, toilet paper, right? Anything to do with mask, right? So during that time, that was a good opportunity. So now it's like, how should you think about it? If I'm looking to sell to somebody, I need to understand who is their buyer. And if if the buyer's buyer isn't buying, they're not going to buy from you, right? So I think that's just the number one change that buyers will be having, because they're going to either look to find ways to mitigate risk or increase velocity of revenue, whatever it may be. But again, if the buyer's buyer isn't buying, it's going to be very, very difficult, right, for you at the end of the day to get the person to buy something, because their buyers aren't buying and they're going to be more defensive, which is going to lead them to probably not invest as much depending on what your solution and service is, right? So that's how I'd answer that there. All right, y'all, we got some good questions. Let's keep the questions flowing. Mark always comes in here with something snarky to say. I don't understand what's up. What's up with you, Mark? Anyways, so Lauren, excited for next Friday as well. It will be a great conversation. I'm looking forward to that. We have a question here on my current email. Okay, so here's the thing that I'm gonna say on this. I can tell you what my favorite is, and then most people might use it and then it won't work for you probably, right? Because then everyone will do it, right? So I just always give like, hey, here's why I do this thing. And then if you want to do it yourself, have at it. But at the same time, I'm not saying that like, go do this forever, right? Because it might not be helpful for you. I'm just letting you know. But I will tell you what it is. You can use it and then you can kind of go off there as well. So no, Mark, I was just messing with you. Sharon, thanks so much for hopping by. I appreciate you dropping in, and hopefully everyone is enjoying this so far. So my current email CTA, right? It's not, but that would be a good one, wouldn't it? So let's tell you. So the one that I like is, would you be open to having a deeper dialogue on this topic? Would you be open to having a deeper dialogue on this topic? That's my favorite one. I'll tell you why. Because people, like, if you write a short email, so the way I write emails is very similar to what Will Alred talks about this a lot at Lavender, is like keeping emails like very, very short, almost as if it's like a text. So my cold emails are like not that long if I'm really trying to get in front of someone. 3 sentences max. It's not that crazy. So the reason I have the call to action, would you be open to a deeper dialogue about this, is because my emails are already short. So if they're like, that piques my interest a little bit, they're like, oh yeah, I'd be open to a deeper dialogue, which then translates into, I want to have a 30-minute call with you instead of asking for a 30-minute call. So that's like my go-to. That's in pretty much all my emails. I would say like, would you be open to a deeper dialogue about this? And again, you also have to think about, from a psychology standpoint, people like to have, deeper dialogues. People like to have deep conversations. People want depth. They don't want people. You're not gonna roll up on someone and be like, hey, like, let's have a shallow conversation, right? That's like not gonna happen, right? When you tell someone, hey, I want to have a deeper dialogue, they're gonna be like, yeah. They're gonna be wanting to actually have that conversation. So that's why I'm recommending you all to do something like that. But if I were to answer that question, Anthony, that's what I would do. And Mark, appreciate the cosign. All right. Let's see. Okay, this is like, these are never actually. Let me go here because this is the follow-up question. All right, cool. So and hopefully I'll understand like where I'm going with this is that everything I talk about has a psychological reason on why I'm doing it. It's not just like, you know what, I saw this post today and I thought this would be a good idea. It's like, no, like there literally is a reason. And I'm like, okay, if this is the reason, how can I continuously expand on that? How can I do more? And I think about that. And so I want y'all to think about that as well. And then you're going to be like, this is the way, right? It's going to be easy for you. All right. Any advice on targeting new markets where potential customers are not familiar with you? So think about if this is granular. You probably have competitors, right? So if you have competitors in the market, then what you'd be looking to do is I would look on the website if it's applicable and try to see are any customers you're going after in the market in their case studies. That's like number one, because then you might get a gauge of like what they're saying. So that's like the first one, right? And then, yeah, sometimes it switches on me. We're back to the good mic now. Sometimes it does switch on me. So essentially, right, is you have to look at their website to see if there's different case studies or testimonials that ultimately allow you to reach out. So that's number one. Two is if you're going in a new market where maybe they're not familiar with you, well, then let's go back to what I said earlier. Just because it's a new market doesn't mean that the customer is completely changed. Their priorities are probably similar. I'm not saying they're like completely the same, but they're similar, right? So you can still use those pain points and talk about how you've helped that persona, maybe not the industry, but you've helped the persona, which at least lets you get in the door. So those are the two ways, at least what I've gone about it. If I'm going to a new market, I'm like, all right, one is, has my competitors done this before? Can I get some information on the website or somewhere else? Two, if I can't, then I'm like, all right, well, I know my pain points and my obstacles. Can I use that to get in the door and start having conversations? And, and three, if you're going into a new market, maybe you could tag, this is another one too. You could maybe talk to the customer success team and see maybe does any of the customers you currently have, do they have peers in that market? Maybe you don't have customers, but do you have peers? Are there partners in that market too? So that's how I go about it. Hopefully that was helpful. All right, so we're going back here. And I'll double down on the psych reason here in a minute. But people asking for quotes via email but unwilling to meet, how would you handle? So, yeah, I'm assuming this is coming in inbound and they don't want to meet with you. They're probably doing some price shopping, etc. The best, I mean, again, if someone is just trying to do that, they might not even be the best person to even sell moving forward. And I think other people might have opinions about this, and if you have other opinions, feel free to throw them in the chat. But the way that I always see this, and what people at least have told me and how I coach people on it, is if you just give price without any context, then it's just the price. So what I would say back, Nicholas, to whoever is like unwilling to just meet with me, I say, hey, typically when I speak to people, or typically when I speak to future clients, we find it best to hop on a call to understand what your current situation is so I can give you the best appropriate pricing based on what I uncover. I would only be able to give you a range of how we could help, but without knowing the exact reasons, I'm just going to give you a blanket price. So if you want that blanket price, that's fine. However, we just find it more helpful to get on a call with you, understand what's going on, and then deliver that price, call the appropriate pricing. And so we can move forward that way. So Nicholas, that's what I would do. Let me know if that's helpful, because at the end of the day, if someone continuously just wants the price, they're just doing price shopping. They don't want to hop on a call. Might not even be the best person you want to talk to at the end of the day. Now, I've seen some people who are buyers and they'll say like, hey, I just want the price because like I'm good. I can just make that decision. And sometimes you're dealing with an experienced buyer, and then, okay, that's fine. But it's obviously hard sometimes to find out who's an experienced buyer unless you get on the call with them, right? So someone might just be asking for price. They're doing price shopping. They try to find the lowest option, and then they go with that instead of like getting on the calls to truly vet it out. But that's how you suss that out, saying, hey, typically people hop on the calls. When they hop on the calls, this is what we do. Based on hopping on the calls, this is how we go about it. And it makes people feel more comfortable. Like, oh, okay, this is the process. So you let me know, Nicholas, if that was helpful. All right, y'all. So we've actually been fine. We're like 35 minutes in. We got about like 10, 15 minutes left. We're going fast. But at this time, we like to call this this is the halftime alert. So when we get to the halftime alert, we just like to get a quick pulse of like what is going on, right? So at the halftime alert, let us know if this has been helpful and impactful so far. Share that in the chat. Also, as well, if you want to like and repost this, that's really helpful. There could be some people out here who could benefit from this information, right? So send that out, likes, comments, shares across the board. That can be helpful for people that are tuning in. But let us know if this is helpful. I always enjoy the feedback, and then tell a friend if you're enjoying this so far on the halftime alert. Now, with that being said, let's get back into it. So the psychological reason basically is like I was talking about earlier. When you say, would you like to have a deeper dialogue on this conversation? People like to have deeper talks. People want dialogues, and they want to be open to it. And people don't want to get forced into having a 30-minute conversation. That's not what they want. So that's why I'm saying, if you say, would you be open to a deeper dialogue? It's easier for you to potentially convert that opportunity as a whole. That's all I'm saying. And if you set it up that way, you should potentially see more success and more people wanting to talk to you. So that's like, yeah, that's the kind of what that's when I said that. You said it's never impactful. Muffins and Morgan's never impactful or helpful. Nathan, what's going on here? No, I'm just kidding. I know what you're trying to say. So let's go here. What are your thoughts on negotiating comp when evaluating a new role? It's different when moving up internally or looking to move companies. So Morgan and Morgan for the people, you know what it is. So, we always got to, air horns if you're a Morgan. So if you have your name Morgan, then you're going to get an air horn. Actually, you'll get 2 of these. So, but anyways, so statistically, and I don't deal in this realm. I don't deal in the realm of recruiting and things of that nature. So someone who's a recruiter might have a better answer here. But I do deal in the realm of statistics. And based on the statistics, if you were looking to get a new role, it actually is more beneficial for you to go to a different company because you'll actually get higher pay raise. That's what I've been told. Now, I'm not telling you to go leave your company right now and go do something else. I'm not saying that, so no one come after me. I'm just telling you what the stats say. The stats say if you leave your company and go somewhere else, you can get a higher pay raise. So if you're moving up internally, it depends on what you're moving up to, right? If you're moving up to a manager, maybe you're going to strategic account executive role. It depends, right, on what leverage you're getting. Because in some organizations, you might move from an SMB AE, I don't know, a year later, you're strategic AE. And yeah, you could have moved to be a mid-market AE, make more money, but you're getting better experience being a strategic AE because now you're working with bigger companies and selling them solutions. So you see what I'm saying? So there's all these different avenues on what you're looking for in terms of moving up or looking to a new company, because it's not just the compensation. There could be career trajectory. There could be working with a certain leader, right, that you want to talk to. There's so many different avenues on how this question goes. But I will tell you statistically, if you go look at a new company, you typically will make more money. And then if you're moving up internally, okay, you could actually have a better opportunity that way, but you got to figure out what that is. And they could offer you more money too. I don't know. But the thing is, that's how you need to think about it. Comp is a variation of things. It's not just money, or money's a portion of it, but it's not just that, right? Comp is like, all right, like what's the situation for working? Like, I consider that as part of the situation. Can you do work from home only? Do you have to go in the office? Right? That could affect your lifestyle. Then it's like, what's your base? Then it's like, what's my territory and how I'm going after it? Who's my manager? What is my OTE? First, is the OTE achievable, right? Because you could go to a company that has, oh, this is a 300K OTE, but then nobody hits it, versus a 250K OTE, and then the majority of people hit it. You see what I'm saying? So like, it's not a better situation. Like you actually, like, you got to figure that out. Then it's like, can I get equity if I'm a founding AE? Like, can I do that? Right? Like, is there an opportunity in a year where I can be an enterprise AE? You know what I'm saying? These are just things that I think about or I would be thinking about, not currently, I don't think about this, but these are things I would be thinking about if I was looking to make some type of move. It's not just, yo, let me get my racks up. It's like there's so many other questions you got to be asking. And I went through a couple of those that you can be asking there. So hopefully that is helpful. All right, y'all. So we got like 5-10 minutes left. We are moving here. These questions are lit today. If you have more questions, drop them in the chat. I believe I've gone through the majority of questions so far. So if you have any more questions, drop them in here. And hopefully everyone's enjoying their Friday and they're feeling good. And you're looking to level up. Yeah, I got so many sounds. Y'all have no idea. Like I could probably sit here and just do sounds all day long, like straight up. So that's the case. So, all right, y'all, let us know if you have any additional questions here. And hopefully this has been helpful. You're taking this advice. You're actually executing it. That's the key. Like, we don't want to just have advice and then you don't do it. And then it's like, yo, what is going on? You got to take this advice, execute, do what you need to do, and get it done. So I want y'all to take I just want to take that advice and then move it forward from there. And then Dan, thanks so much for dropping by. You are welcome. Learned so much. I may have to shut it down for the day. Look, if you want to shut it down, you can shut it down. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. I appreciate it. Melissa as well. Nathan, I appreciate it. Good luck to you out there as well. Let us know if you have a question. Morgan, yep, absolutely. You are welcome. All right, we can get one question in here. We moved extremely quickly. But yeah, I'm getting back in the trenches here for the next week moves that are about to be made here. So, all right, what do you think of the permission-based they're going to call? How do you start your cold call? So, I'm actually extremely into this. So, we'll end on this. I love the permission-based opener. Some people don't like it. Some people think it's silly. Some people think it's a waste of time. Transparently, y'all, like, I'm going to be super real, y'all. It really doesn't matter what most people think. All that matters is, does it work or not? Like, oh, Morgan, this intro doesn't work. I think it's bad. Okay, that's your opinion. The thing is, like, why would this? Let's like take a pause. I want y'all to think about this. People get really heated about cold call introductions. I posted one like 2 years ago, and everyone's like, "You're wrong. You should be posting this advice." Oh my gosh, like what's happening, right? People are like losing their mind. I'm like, y'all, like, relax. Like, first of all, no one would go on here and share information that they didn't think that actually worked from a sales perspective. That's just my opinion. So I can have a debate on that, but no one would do that. Also, everyone is just different. Like how they approach it, how they go about it, what they do, right? As long as you get results, you get results, right? As long as it's not shady. So my whole point on this, to kind of sum this up, to not go on a monologue rant here, is I love the permission-based opener. I will tell you exactly why it works. However, at the same time, right, like it genuinely doesn't matter until you start practicing. And the thing is that most people will debate what the best intro is, but then still never make a cold call. Oh, I don't think y'all heard me. Wait, let's go back. Most people that complain about cold calling, like, this intro has one little wrong thing in it, don't even make a cold call. So it's like, just make the call, A/B test stuff, figure out what works for you, and it will answer the question. But to go into it, at the end of the day, right, Sabrina, you're right. I mean, let's bring this up. I'm gonna answer the question, but like, this is really it. Like, how good of a day is a prospect having? That's also a big part of it. You could have the best intro in the world, but sometimes they're just like grumpy and they don't care. Nothing you can do. Like, there's nothing you can do. And Nathan, you're right. Ronan would be I'm surprised he hasn't like jumped in here and started yelling about like this whole entire thing. But my thing is, I'm a huge fan of it. My intro is called the PLA, which stands for Pleasant Laughing Arms Up. So to give you an example, let's say that I'm calling Sabrina. I would be like, "Hi, Sabrina. Thanks for taking my call. Hey, look, I know I'm calling you out the blue here. However, do you have a few moments to chat?" And I'll give y'all a psychological breakdown. Because like every single thing that I have and I talk about that I do, it all has a breakdown. It's not random. So if you think about PLA, pleasant is the beginning. So if I say, "Hi, Sabrina, thanks for taking my call," immediate pattern interrupt. Most people never get thanks for taking a cold call. So now you're more willing to pay attention. And I also didn't say my name, which isn't important, but I said your name. So you're like, interesting. The second part is the laugh. So you notice I did a little chuckle and I was like, hey, I know I'm calling out the blue here. That typically allows for the conversation to have levity. In that intro, people are more open to hearing you out. And now you can get to the next part, which is the A, which I'll tell you here in a second. But that laugh is important. Now, I will caution everyone here that's listening or will listen to this replay. Please do not go crazy with this one. Don't be like, here, calling out the blue. You don't want to sound like Goofy or Kawhi Leonard or something absurd, right? This is something that you need to practice. Go in a mirror. I don't care what you do, but please do not be goofy with this and actually practice it, because that's the laugh that I actually do in the call. Then once you've created levity from a psychological standpoint, if you can get someone to have levity or you can get them to laugh, you can pretty much get them to do whatever you want. So then the next point is the A, which is the arms up. So I put my arms up and I say, however, do you have a few moments to chat. So based on my body language, I'm more, let's just put it this way, I'm not confrontational, I'm not aggressive, I'm unassuming. So now there's a more opportunity that you're going to be like, what do you want? What are you about? And ultimately, the reason I use moments and not seconds or minutes like some other intros do, because moments is ambiguous. That could be seconds, it could be minutes, it could be 5 hours. As long as they say yes, they've given me time to go as long as I want. And I can do whatever I want at that point. You see what I'm saying? So that's the key there, and that's the goal, and that's how you would go about it. And so if we even go further back, right, across the board, PLA, pleasant, laughing, arms up. If they say no, there's still an opportunity to actually move forward. But probably 80% of the time, from what I've seen, 85% of the time, people are going to say, what do you want? Who are you? What's your company name, etc., which then allows you to go into your value prop across the board. So that's how it works. Yeah, Andrew, look, no Kawhi laughs, y'all. Like, I mean, if you want to do it, like, I can't defend you. It's not probably going to end up well for you. Let's just put it that way. All right. So that's what I think about the permission-based opener. That's how I start my call. Hopefully that was helpful. And y'all, this was fire session. And hopefully y'all enjoyed it on this Friday. And as we wrap up here, if you have any further feedback on what type of sessions you want on Muffins with Morgan, hit me up on LinkedIn, DM me, and I will get back to you as I can appropriately. And if you've been enjoying this so far and these muffins, let me know in the chat, or you can message me as well. We'll love that. And then I know there's some people that are OGs that want the Saturday morning sessions back. I mean, if that's the case, I'm open to the conversation and see where it goes. So appreciate everyone hopping in on this Friday, taking the time to hang out with me, asking some questions. Next week, got a couple exciting things going on, so stay tuned for that. You'll see in the feed. And if everybody else is good, we're going to sign off. Y'all have a good one, and I'll talk to y'all soon.